the Bulls be trading Lonzo Ball after the addition of Josh Giddey? What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Bulls Report by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. We got a report from Darnell Mayberry suggesting that Lonzo could be on his way out of Chicago after the Bulls picked up Josh Giddey yesterday. And also, on the later half of today's show, I said on a video yesterday that I believe Josh Giddey will come off the bench, but I thought about it more, and I think it's more likely than not that he will be the starting point guard for the Bulls, and I think the Bulls can move Coby White to the 2. So we're going to be talking about that on the later half of today's show, so stay tuned for that. But actually, my bosses came to me before we hopped in the studio today, and they said, we are planning on starting a Detroit Pistons channel called Pistons Now by Chat Sports. But they also gave us the opportunity here at the Bulls Report, and they said if we pick up 30 subs on today's show, so if we hit 7,100 subs off today's video, we will postpone starting the Pistons channel till next offseason. I would really appreciate it. I hate this ball club up there in Detroit. So, hey, if you guys need any more incentive to hit that subscribe button, there it is right there. But this is what Darnell Mayberry, who works for The Athletic covering the Chicago Bulls, said about Lonzo Ball possibly being on his way out of Chicago. He said Giddey's acquisition also further clouds the Bulls' plans for recovering point guard Lonzo Ball, who hasn't played since January 2022, but is expected to make a comeback next season. It's impossible to not view Giddey as insurance in case Ball doesn't return. By bringing in Giddey, the Bulls also may have signaled they're ready to move on from Lonzo Ball. A trade or a buyout could be likely. Now, with where the Bulls stand right now, this would be absolutely devastating. If they went through that whole Lonzo Ball injury saga and waited 2.5 years for him to come back just to trade him right before he would be ready to play, I would just, it would just hurt me because Lonzo Ball, during those 35 games back in 2021, he had the Bulls offense absolutely humming. They're one of the best transition offenses in the entire NBA, and they were sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference or during that season. So I would be devastated to move off Lonzo Ball, but let's break it down. So right now, Lonzo Ball, he did opt into his player option, so his contract is a 1-year, $23.39 million deal. So a team's definitely going to have to consider that if they are going to trade for him. But honestly, we'll talk about it. But what could the Bulls even get for a Lonzo Ball trade? Because you look at his injury history, and, it's not just the fact that meniscus tear back in 2022 has kept him out for the last 2.5 years. It's the other injuries before that. COVID, 2021, a thumb sprain, a hip flexor strain, even knee tendinopathy in 2021, then also abductor strain, an ankle sprain, a meniscus tear, a shoulder injury. I mean, he has nicked up every single part of his body. So Lonzo, he's got a lengthy injury history. It's going to be very interesting to see if a team would even give up a second-round pick for Lonzo. But we did get this, I would call this an injury update. We got a couple videos of Lonzo that he threw on his IG of him dunking the basketball, so that's positive to see. He actually threw this off the glass, went up, two-handed slam, and threw it down. So you see the lift right there. It's looking like, he is just taking the right steps to get back here on the court. But Lonzo Ball also on his podcast commented about his availability for potentially the season opener for the Bulls. When asked about it, he said, yes, I firmly believe that. That's the plan I'm on, and I haven't had any setbacks, so I expect to play the first game. And then Lonzo was also asked on just where his knee is at right now. He said it's still improving, so that's all I can ask for. Still not where I want it to be. Out of 100, I'd say I'm about 70%. Good enough to play, but it still could get better. And now my question on this is, does Lonzo have a role on this basketball team after the addition of Josh Giddey? Because they do play very, similar styles of basketball where they are both, that offensive generator, both more that playmaking build at the point guard position, 6'6" for Lonzo, 6'8" for Josh Giddey. Like, they play the game in very similar fashion. So I'm not really too sure, even if Lonzo is back 100% healthy, where is his role on the team? And, just looking at the Bulls guards right now, you have Coby White, the offensive, mastermind, 3-level scorer. We know what Coby White's all about. But then you also got Dosunmu, who had a breakout year this past season. Then you just picked up Josh Giddey. You have your 3 guards of the future all under the age of 24 years old as well. So I'm not too sure, even if Lonzo is back, would he be able to, get himself a true, role with this team, this upcoming year? Maybe it could be limited, maybe about 10 to 15 minutes a game of just being that guard off the bench that, hopefully he's able to defend at the same level he was. But again, that's more likely, not going to be the situation than it is. So and then it gets me to this question. What could you get for Lonzo Ball? Like, I really don't even know if you could get a second-round pick. I don't know how teams, are viewing, their draft capital of this year's draft. If they would want to, maybe, some team sends, pick 50 or whatever it may be for Lonzo and just kind of takes a flyer that he could get back to the player he once was. Because I'll tell you what, if you get 70% of Lonzo Ball from what he was back in that 2021 season, that is still a very impactful basketball player. He plays winning at the highest, or he plays winning basketball at some of the highest level, always makes the right reads, and he's always about, getting that victory over his own personal stats and accolades. So, Lonzo, wishing for the best of you. Really hope it, it's not the case you end up getting traded, but, who knows with what this front office is going to do. But you guys let me know, would you trade Lonzo Ball? Let's just say even if you could get a second-round pick for him, give me a T for trade or give me a P for pass down in the comments section. Let me know your thoughts on Lonzo Ball. My take on this, I am keeping Lonzo this offseason and seeing if he can, even just up his trade value during the first half of the season, and then you could move him at the deadline. I don't think there's any, positive, benefit for the Bulls, to trade him right now, considering just, his value is at an all-time low, and I'm not really, the biggest fan of, trading guys when they are at an all-time low value. So I would keep him, play him out this year, see if he can just prove to maybe the Bulls and other teams that he is somewhat of what he once was. But coming up next year on the show, will Josh Giddey start next season? This is going to be me pretty much owning that maybe I was wrong initially about saying Josh Giddey could come off the bench. But before we dive into that, guys, we got a sweet deal going on right now. And if you hit that link, chatsports.com/BullsCombo, you can get this 2 t-shirt pack up to 20% off. I ordered this last off season. I was rocking these shirts all summer. They're awesome, super comfortable. So if you guys want some more Bulls merchandise and want them on a pretty great deal, check out that link, chatsports.com/BullsCombo. All right, let's break it down. Will Josh Giddey start next season for the Bulls? As, you guys got on me a little bit in the comments section of last video because, I threw out there that I think, he was going to come off the bench. But let's talk about it. So yesterday I did say I expect Giddey, to play that role on the bench of, being similar to like a TJ McConnell. And, I wasn't necessarily comparing their games, but I was comparing, the impact they could have coming off that bench as just being that person who was, manning that full, second man group that could come into the ball game and just add that overall burst. And, many of you guys disagreed. So let's talk about it. And, my thought process on why I said Giddey, should come off the bench is because I believe like Coby White and Ayo are the perfect backcourt in terms of they complement each other's games so well. They both have great size to them, both around 6'4", 6'5". Ayo's got a super long wingspan, and Coby is that offensive minded guard where Ayo is that defensive minded guard. So I would initially want Giddey to come off the bench and just be that elite offensive generator. But I mean, look at the numbers this past season for White and Dosunmu. Like, they both took huge steps, this past season, especially when Zach LaVine went out. We saw their usage rate. We saw the shots per game go up, and it just led to them, having career years. I mean, Coby White was almost 20 a game scorer, when it was all said and done. He averaged 20-plus points a game after the LaVine injury. Very efficient as well, 44.4% from the field, 37.8% from downtown for White, and he also absolutely dominated the Atlanta Hawks in that play-in game. And then Ayo, I mean, shooting 40% from downtown this season, was one of the best corner three-point shooters in the entire NBA. So personally, I thought that backcourt would be the backcourt of the future, but I could be wrong. The Bulls could easily move Ayo Dosunmu to the bench and play that, that just Energizer Bunny type of role where he would just come in, bring instant energy because he plays hard. He just has that, contagious feel to when he, is out there on the court. So I could easily, be wrong about this, and Josh Giddey could be the starting point guard, and then it could be, Ayo Dosunmu moving to the bench. Overall, I have absolutely started to love this trade of Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey, and this is for many reasons. Number one, I love the fact that you were able to move off Alex Caruso when his value was at its highest, and then also you're able to pick up a young player who is 21 years old whose value was at his lowest. So I love it on that side of things. And then also, I've just started to turn my kind of page around, me liking Josh Giddey as a basketball player. This was a guy who averaged 16 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds in his second year in the NBA at the age of 20. So overall, I had my emotions attached to it at first where I didn't want to move off Alex Caruso, but I think this was just a right move for the Chicago Bulls, and they are starting their youth movement here in Chicago. So you guys let me know, will Josh Giddey start for the Chicago Bulls? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down in the comment section. I think I've changed my tune on this. I think I'm going to say yes, he is, as we also got a report that Sam Presti said that a big reason why they did move off Josh Giddey was because he wasn't too thrilled about coming off the bench. So I'm assuming, the Bulls will start him, and then you got Josh Giddey and Coby White starting at the 1 or 2, and then you could let Coby White just really focus on being that, elite scorer. I could see Coby White averaging around 24 points a game next season. But, you guys let me know. Will Josh Giddey start for Chicago next season? And make sure you guys are subscribed. We're going to have videos going out this weekend. So hit that subscribe button, youtube.com/Bulls Report, and I would really appreciate it. But thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. See you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.